Okay, the next lesson, parallel lines and transversals. So here we'll look at what parallel lines and transversals, what happens when they both combine. So parallel lines are lines that don't cross one another, and they are always the same distance from one another, like these two. Like here I have line 1 and line 2, kind of like train tracks, where they never cross one another. The transversal, again, is that line that crosses the two lines and cuts and intersects them both. So suppose you have two parallel lines and a transversal that intersects both of them. Many different angles are formed by these intersecting lines. Now these angles this time they have special relationships, especially because I have parallel lines. So let's look here. It says measure all the angles from 1 to 8, write the measurements in the diagram. So you can do that. I'm going to kind of estimate them on my own. So for instance, if I gave you the one, say for angle 2 over here. Say I said this one here is 100 degrees. What do I know about angle 1? Well, I know that angle 1 and 2 are supplementary, which means they have to add up to 180 degrees. So if angle 2 is 100, angle 1 must be 80 degrees. Let me see here. I also know that angle 1 and 4 are supplementary because they are also on a line. So angle 80, or angle 1 plus angle 4, must add up to 180. Oh yeah, so angle 4 must also be 100 degrees. Wait a second. If I have that, angle 3, because it adds up to 100 and 100, both on both sides, both being straight lines, it must also be 80 degrees. Now, if I was to use my protractor and measure, I would also find that angle 5 is also 100 degrees. That means that all these angles are the same. 80 degrees, 100 degrees, and 80 degrees. Now you might notice something kind of interesting that happens here. You can see vertically opposite angles. I can see interior angles on the same side of the transversal. I can see exterior angles on the same side of the transversal. And we'll go through each one of these and how they kind of work. So what happens here? Angles that are vertically opposite are angles that are right across from each other. And these angles that are formed are equal. So that means that angle 1 is equal to angle 3. Remember, this is for parallel lines. So you have to have parallel lines for this to happen. Can you see any other ones? Yeah, I can see angle 5 and angle 7. So angle 5 would be equal to angle 7. Those are vertically opposite angles and they are equal. They are the same angle. And if you look above, yeah, you can see that they are. Okay, you could find many more, like 6 and 8 and 2 and 4. Corresponding. Remember what we said about corresponding. They're in the same direction, they're in the same position, and in relation to the transversal, they're on the same side. Look, this one's facing down, this one's also facing down, on the same side of the transversal. These angles are also equal, so angle 4 is equal to angle 7. And if we look above, oh yeah, that's like angle 4 and 7, 100 and 100 degrees. Both equal. Can you see any more? Yeah, I could say angle 2 up here and angle 5. So angle 2 is equal to angle 5. Those are corresponding angles. They're in the same position, in the same facing direction, both up or both down, and they're equal. If my two lines have got to be parallel. If they're not parallel, the angles are not equal. And you could find more, like 1 and 6 and 3 and 8. Alternate interior angles. So here, a lot of people call this the Z rule because it looks like I have a Z, and that's helpful. It's really helpful to kind of figure out, oh, okay, there's my Z. They go right across from each other, and those angles are also equal. So angles like angle 3 is equal to angle 6. Always have your angle sign. Angle 3 is equal to angle 6. Can you see any more in the interior? Yeah, I have angle 4 and alternating across angle 5. So angle 4 is equal to angle 5. So alternate interior angles are equal. Alternate exterior angles. Remember, those are on the outside, so on alternating sides of the transversal, but they're on the outside of the two lines, L1 and L2. Outside, like angles 2, and this time again they are equal, which is equal to angle 7. And again, if we looked above at our diagram, that would be like angle 2 and angle 7, right? They're both 100 degrees. Okay. Alternate exterior, and you could find two other ones too, like angles 1 and angles 8. So angle 1 is equal to angle 8. And those are the only exterior angles. Next one I have, interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Now we get into something different. This time they're supplementary, which means they add up to 180 degrees. You only have a few things to remember with parallel lines and transversals. One of them is that the angles are equal. The other one is that they are supplementary. Usually those are the two only options you have. They're either equal or they're supplementary. They add to 180. This time, angle 4 plus angle 6, these are these are interior angles on the same side of the transversal. They're interior because they're in between line 1 and line 2, and they're on the same side of the transversal, right? So those two angles added together equal 180 degrees. If I was looking at the other inside, 3 and 5, those two angles are also interior on the same side of the transversal. So angle 3 plus angle 5 would also add up to 180 degrees. All right, let's move on. Exterior angles on the same side, like 1 and 7, are also supplementary. So angles 1 plus angle 7 also add up to 180 degrees. They're supplementary. Just like angle 2, and remember on the same side of the transversal, and angle 8. They're exterior because they're outside. Angle 2 plus angle 8, they're outside of the two lines, 1 and line 2, and they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, let's go through an example here. I just have two or three examples to get through. The first example I'm going to look at is, okay, we're going to classify all these angles right now. Okay, so I have angle 105 here is the only angle I'm given, and it wants me to find what angle 1 is. Well, those are alternate exterior. What do we know about alternate exterior? Okay, so alternate exterior. Alternate exterior angles are, oh, okay, they're equal. They're equal. Alternate exterior angles are equal. That means that 1 must be equal to 105 degrees. So this one over here is 105 degrees. Next, let's go to angle 2. Well, angle 2 and angle 105 have to be supplementary because they're on a straight line. How many angles, or what are the degrees on a straight line? 180. So I have 180. I subtract off the one I know, which is 105, and I'm left with 75 degrees. So angle 2 is 75 degrees because it's supplementary to the one above. Okay, and the one above was alternate exterior. And remember, they are equal. So supplementary angles, let's keep going here. I'm going to get rid of some of these just so I can keep track of it. Okay, so we got angle 3, which is down here. And remember, I had angle 1, which was 105. And I had angle 2, which was 75. And angle 3, if you'll notice, is vertically opposite to 75 degrees, vertically opposite to this angle here. So I could say that it's also 75 degrees because it's vertically opposite. Next one I have is angle 4, which is over here. And you could say a bunch of things. It's vertically opposite to 105, or it's supplementary to angle 3, or it's supplementary to angle 2. Let's go with vertically opposite. I like that. It's easier. So angle 4 and angle 1 are vertically opposite, and therefore it's 105 degrees. Oops, I forgot the Y. So vertically opposite. And remember, those are equal. All right, next one I have is angle 5 over here. I've already got the answer written above, which is 105. But you might notice that they're corresponding, right? Because this one here and this one here are both in the same direction, and they're both of the same angle. They're facing the same direction in the same position. So therefore, it's 105 degrees. I could say corresponding, right? Corresponding to angle 1. Or you could see its interior angle on the same side of the transversal as angle 2. Therefore, they would be supplementary. Let's keep going here. Angle 6, which is over here. I've already got the answer there for 75. it's corresponding to angle 2. So I could say it's 75 degrees, and it's corresponding to angle 2. The other one was corresponding, angle 5 was corresponding to angle 1, in the same direction. And lastly, angle 7, you could say a bunch of different things, but angle 7 is vertically opposite to this angle 6. So let's say vertically opposite. So we're going to say 75 degrees because it's vertically opposite. And it's vertically opposite to angle 6. Angle 7 and angle 6 should be the same measurement. Alright, so here's a summary. Corresponding angles are equal. Alternate interior angles are equal. Alternate exterior angles are equal. And the only two that are supplementary are interior angles on the same side of a transversal and exterior angles on the same side of a transversal. So really, really easy to remember. There's only two that are supplementary and the rest of them are equal. Corresponding is maybe the only one that's really difficult to remember for some reason. Alright, let's say. Example, the next one says name all the pairs of parallel lines and explain your selection. So here I have these lines, I have transversals, and I have a bunch of angles that are given to me here. Okay, let's see here. I have line 1 and line 3. Are they parallel? No, because if you look at the angles, this one here and this one here, they should be, if they're equal, they should add up to 180 degrees because they're interior on the same side of the transversal, right? Let's see here. What if I said that this one over here is 100 degrees, which it should have been. I just didn't write in properly. So that one there is 100 degrees. Okay, well now I'm looking at line 4 and line 6 as my two lines. So therefore, if I have 80 and 100, those are both supplementary angles. And they're also both interior angles on the same side of the transversal. That would be this line here. So I know that line 4 is parallel, that's the sign for parallel, to line 6. Or you could just say line 4 and line 6. Any more? Well, let's say that this line, this angle in here, was also 100 degrees, right there. Then I could say that line 2 and line 1 are also parallel, because they have interior angles on the same side that are supplementary. What about this line, line 4 and line 5? Well, first of all, they don't look like they're parallel at all. And secondly, if you look at 95 degrees and 78 degrees, my angles keep disappearing, then those are not the same, because if they're corresponding, they should be the same, which they are corresponding in the same position, but they're not equal. So therefore, those lines are not parallel. And again, line 3 and line 2, are those parallel? Well, they don't look like they're parallel because one looks like it's sloping a bit more. But also the angles, 95 and 100, those should be the same, right? So you have to look for reasons why they're parallel are right above. Corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, those all have to be equal. And you also have to look for the supplementary angles as well. All right, last example. So if line 1 and line 2 are parallel, these two lines are parallel, I'm going to put little arrows on them, which usually means they're parallel, then determine the angles 1 through 6. Okay, I got a few angles written in here. Okay, this one should be really easy. So angle 1 here, look at the angle I have close to it, which is angle 125. I have angle 52, but I'm just looking in between because I like those in between angles. Those are interior angles on the same side of the transversal, and they are supplementary, so they have to add up to 180 degrees. So I start off with 180, I subtract off my 125, and I'm left with 55 degrees. Alright, let's go to angle 3. Well, let's see here. Angle 3, the next ones I have close to it are 50 and 55. And what do I know about all those? Well, they have to be supplementary. Let's just wait. Alternate. No. Oh no. Hold on. What does that mean? All right. So we would say those are interior angles. Angle 3 over here, they have to add up all the way across. So, and all those angles are supplementary. that means they all have to add up to 180 degrees. So if I subtract off, the first one that I have there is 50, the other one I have there is 55, I'm left with 75 degrees. And the reason I got that was because they're supplementary angles. Next one I have is angle 4, and angle 4 is down here. Well, I have angle 4 and angle 1 are alternate interior, so therefore they have to be equal. So that angle 4 has to be 55 degrees. And I got that by alternate interior angles. And remember that they're equal. They're the same angle. Next one I have is angle 5 over here. How am I going to do this one? Well, angle 5, let me see here. Angle 5 and angle 3 are alternate interior. How do I know that? Well, I look at the transversal that they're created from. This line here is the transversal. They're both connected to that transversal, and one is connected to this line, and the other one is connected to this line. Both those lines are parallel, so therefore they have to both be the same. 75 degrees, and I got that from alternate interior to angle 3. The last one I have is angle 6, which is this one down here. And you could say that angle 6 and angle 3, they're facing each other, therefore they have to be supplementary, but they're also interior angles on the same side, right? So angle 3, which was 75, subtracted from 180 because I know they have to add up to 180. So I subtract off my 75, and I'm left with 105. And I got that because interior angles on the same side. Alright, a bit of a longer lesson, but it's a lot of stuff to cover. And again, make notes, run through. These are all about parallel lines, transversals, and how they are either equal or supplementary. I would write out this chart for sure. Keep it handy for all your quizzes and tests. I think you're given something similar to this on the provincial exam if you're taking AW Math 10. So make sure you memorize this list. It will help you a lot.